Good morning. My name is Catherine Chacon. I'm from the Procurement Division. I will be talking about the pre-bid meeting for the IPG process, procurement process for the economic development investment portfolio for growth for the commercial underwriting, real estate, and financial advisory services. In behalf of our secretary from the PRDOH, we give you the most warm welcome from William Rodriguez. And also with us is the Deputy Director of the Procurement Division, Laura Pagan. Also with us is Serge Acevedo, the procurement, one of our procurement specialists. Also from our grant management, we also have Joan Fonseca. We also with us will be from our economic development division, Juan Miguel. Also from our Federal Compliance Division, in behalf of Maria del Carmen, we also have Ivana Harrington. We will be discussing the pre-bid meeting for the, as I said before, for the economic development investment portfolio for growth, commercial underwriting, real estate, and financial advisory services. All procurement processes shall be conducted in accordance to the terms established in the procurement manual for the CDBG-DR program to guarantee full and open competition or fair treatment of all persons or entities involved in each procurement process. The procurement manual is available at our CDBG-DR website and is incorporated by reference and made an integral part of this RFP. Nothing said at the pre-bid meeting will change any of the terms of the RFP except a written amendment to the solicitation issued through an addendum. Now we will be introducing our scope of services by the area of economic development.
Hi to everyone. Good morning. I want to start thanking you for being here and being interested in this program and part of the economic recovery of Puerto Rico. My name is Juan Miguel Ortiz. I'm the POC for the Department of Housing in specifically for this program, but in the economic sector. So we're going to give you a very brief overview and scope of work of these advisory services and underwriting services that you are interested in for the IPG program. So I'm going to start giving the overview. Then the POC for our grant manager, Joan Fonseca, who is here, will continue talking a little bit more about the scope, okay? So let's talk about the program overview. The Investment Portfolio for Growth, IPG, seeks to alleviate and exacerbated economic effects of the hurricane through large-scale development projects that are transformative in nature and create/retain low to moderate income jobs or cascading economic impacts. The IPG program has been allocated a total of $800 million in the Puerto Rico CDBG-DR action plan, as amended, an amount that is subject to change with subsequent amendments. That's pretty normal in the CDBG-DR programs, okay? So that could happen. The IPG program intends to award gap funding for large-scale commercial and industrial development in a broad-ranging category of activities that cover a wide variety of economic revitalization initiatives. These may include, but is not limited to, the development, redevelopment of commercial developments, mixed-use developments, and infrastructure development in support of an economic development investment. This is just a graphic to show the $800 million. Next graphic, please. Thank you. Eligible applicants. I just want to say that this is a pretty broad range that are included as part of people that can access these funds. So I'm going to mention them in the bullets. Units of general local government, local and municipal governments, including departments and divisions. Government of Puerto Rico, which include agencies, authorities, trust, and boards. Community-based development organizations and private not-for-profits. Non-governmental organizations or not-for-profit entities. For-profit businesses as eligible under applicable activities. Projects are encouraged to be developed through public-private partnerships in which CDBG-DR funds are used as leverage for private funds that will result in economic development in opportunity zones and encourage the use of opportunity zone credits across Puerto Rico. We're gonna talk a little bit about the award terms. Just as I told you about the amount allocated, the award terms could change, but this is what we have right now. But everything will be revised and we are in that process. Projects must result in an essential service or must create one new full-time equivalent job for every 50,000 of CDBG-DR funds. Award amounts range from $500,000 to $50 million. Loans will not exceed 30% of a project's total cost to include, but not limited to, development budget and cost of insurance. Interest rates are not to exceed 2% per annum. No prepayment penalty. A portion of the loan may be forgivable based upon adherence to agreed upon terms and conditions. So that's in a big scale how the program is going to work. Loans are also forgivable, and that's something that we could later discuss, and you could have questions. There are specific details, but this is a general idea of how the awards are going to be and how the program is going to be run. I'm going to leave you now with Joanne, who's going to talk a little bit more about the scope of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan Miguel, and good morning for everybody. Thank you again for joining us. I will be talking a bit about specifically this RFP and the scope of services that it will include. And also to introduce myself, Joan Fonseca, and I work on the grant management side. So in terms of roles and responsibilities, the selected proposer will engage in commercial underwriting, real estate, and financial advisory services for the IPG program, but also on the wide portfolio of programs included in the CDBG disaster recovery and CDBG mitigation portfolio of programs. The engagement is expected to be for a period of 3 years, with optional extensions of up to 2 additional years. The selected proposer will be responsible for providing expert assistance in assessing financial feasibility and underwriting of proposed projects. The selected proposer will also ensure the accuracy, the timeliness, and completion of all tasks assigned under the contemplated contract by their key staff and all other staff the proposer deems necessary to carry out the task contained herein. For the staff requirements, the proposer shall provide competent and fully qualified staff that are authorized or permitted under federal, state, and local law to perform the scope of services under the contemplated contract. PRDOH reserves the right to request the removal of any staff not performing up to standard. Any additional key staff will require pre-approval from PRDOH before the new staff member can commence work. And also no key staff may be assigned to the contemplated contract without the written consent and pre-approval of PRDOH. For the key staff, the proposer must demonstrate that it has the personnel capable of handling the services required and must provide detailed information about the experience and qualifications of the entire staff to be assigned for the project. This may include evidence of their degrees, certifications, and licenses, among other requirements. The key staff, as the RFP is designed currently, will include 3 key positions. The first one being a senior executive and industry expert. The second position would be a senior consultant, and then finally an additional consultant. It is important to note that the key proposer may submit or add up to 2 additional consultants if needed, but this would also require the pre-approval of PRDOH. Part of the proposal shall also include an initial organizational chart and staffing plan, which would detail the identity of each staff member, whether they're already employed or to be subcontracted in the near term. The proposer's organizational and staffing plan shall specifically include the required number of personnel, the roles and responsibilities of each person assigned to the program, names of the resources and subcontractors, the resumes and professional information deemed relevant by the program and the position to be held, the planned scope of work, their on-site availability, and also the percentage of each position's respective workload in the proposal. And here finally is a list of the services requested on the as part of the proposal. And you can find more information on this this is detailed in the scope of services within the instructions of the RFP. So I will pass it on now to Catherine to continue discussing this, and thank you again.
Yes, before we continue, I asked the attendees if they could please include their complete name. Due to a technical error, the name that is being presented is not the name of the attendee. So please include your complete name and rename the attendee name that's being shared. Now I will continue with the preview. This RFP provides for liquidated damages as related to established timeframes of performance. The PRDOH and the proposer will agree on the timetable for the deliverable of each task. For this RFP, the PRDOH established as liquidated damages for $175 for each calendar day that a deliverable required is late until deemed in compliance, subject to a maximum of $3,500. Proposers shall be aware that in case of resulting selected for the award of this RFP, proposer must have a minimum of required insurance policies and coverages. For details regarding insurance requirements, refer to the attachment 4 of the RFP instructions. The RFP documents are available to download at the CDBG-DR website. Interested parties must register to download the procurement documents and addenda. If you already have been registered, you must enter your email and password. If you do not have an account, you should complete the required information. The important dates of this RFP are the following. The public notice was on May 7, 2021. Submission of questions and requests for clarifications are on May 17 at 4 p.m. Responses to questions and requests for clarifications is May 25, 2021. The proposal's due date is June 8, 2021 at 9 a.m. up to on or before June 10, 2021 at 5 p.m. Proposers should submit all questions in writing on or before May 17, 2021 at 4 p.m. to the CDBG-DR electronic mailing address. Responses to all proposers' questions will be answered by addenda and will be posted on the CDBG-DR website. Inquiries shall be submitted by prospective proposers using the document titled Form for Submission of Inquiries included as attachment 3. All procurement documents pertaining to the procurement process, including addenda issued by the PRDOH, are and will be available for download at the CDBG-DR website. All prospective proposers must monitor the CDBG-DR website in order to retrieve addenda, if any, issued for this procurement process. Responses to the RFP will only be accepted by electronic means. Proposers are advised that the PRDOH will neither require nor accept physical proposal submissions. If proposals are submitted in the both electronic and in paper format, the PRDOH will only consider the electronic format for evaluation. The proposer will receive access to submit the electronic proposals after registration process is completed through the CDBG-DR website. Proposers will be requested to provide and validate an email address. Proposal must be submitted on or before June 10, 2021 at 5 p.m. Access to the upload the electronic proposals will commence 3 business days prior to the proposal's due date and time. Prior electronic proposal submission on the CDBG-DR website, proposer must take into consideration the following. Check your internet connection before starting the upload the electronic proposal documents. As the due date time draws near, heavy traffic on the web server may cause delays. Plan ahead and leave ample time to prepare and submit your proposal. Proposers bear the risk of website inaccessibility due to heavy usage in the final hours before the RFP closing time. The website will not allow registrations past the scheduled due time. If the proposer starts the registration process close to the scheduled due time and the proposal submission deadline closes, the system will not allow the complete registration. Therefore, the proposer will not be able to upload the proposal documents. The proposer must submit the mandatory requirements, qualifications, and work approach, and the cost proposal requirements in the identified sections at the website. The documents must be submitted in PDF format, and multiple PDFs may be merged into one single document. Also, multiple files may be uploaded in a zip file. The maximum upload size for each document or compressed file is 500 megabytes. The proposer is responsible for on-time submission of their electronic proposal. The PRDOH will only consider electronic proposals that have been transmitted successfully within the RFP requested format. During the document upload process, the proposer will be able to click on the documents and have a preview of the uploaded document. Incomplete electronic proposals with errors, or if viruses or corrupted files are found after the upload, will not be accepted. During submission period, proposers experiencing any technical difficulties may contact the PRDOH at CDBG-DR/procurement@vivienda.pr.gov. If CDBG-DR website fails during the submission period on or before the scheduled time deadline, the PRDOH will provide instructions via addendum to the proposers. Once the electronic proposal is submitted, the proposal is locked in the system until the PRDOH completes its evaluation. Therefore, the proposer must assure that all documentation required by the RFP has been correctly uploaded at the submission due date. The proposer must be aware that modification to the electronic proposals will not be allowed once the submission is completed. Now I will leave you with Sergio Acevedo that will be explaining the evaluation criteria.
Hi, everyone. This RFP includes the following evaluation criteria. Mandatory requirements will be scored as either pass or fail. Failure to comply with all the mandatory requirements of this RFP will result in the disqualification of the proposer. Mandatory requirements includes, among others, audited, review, or compiled financial statements. For the most recent 2 years issued by a certified public accountant and prepared in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. The financial statements must include a balance sheet, statement of operations, statement of cash flows, and notes to the financial statements. Copy if income tax returns for the same 2 years. If proposer has more than 1 year in operation but less than 2, please provide the requested information for the last fiscal or calendar year. Most recent interim financial statements for a period ending not later than 60 days before the proposal submission date. The interim financial statements must include at least a balance sheet and a statement of operations. Line of credit or cash availability. The amount required of the unencumbered line of credit, available cash balances, or a combination thereof is a minimum of $380,700.00. Pending litigation and non-bankruptcy sworn statements. The information submitted will permit a pass or fail grading following a scoring process by the PRDOH. A total grading of 70% or more is required to obtain a rating of pass. All notarial documents executed outside of Puerto Rico shall be authenticated and subsequently need to have an apostille or certification of the state Secretary of State, county clerk, or corresponding authority of the state government. Notarial documents executed in one of the Hague Convention of 1961 participating countries shall include the corresponding apostille or certification issued pursuant to the Hague Convention of 1961. Notarial documents executed in countries which are not signatories to the Hague Convention of 1961 must be authenticated by the corresponding authority of the United States. Qualification requirements will have a total maximum score of 4 points. Qualifications requirements includes, among others, comparable contracts. The proposal, in its proposal, must provide a list of at least 3 comparable projects, current or within the last 10 years, where the proposer had provided services similar in scope to the hearing required. These projects and their data will be provided by the proposer in Exhibit B. The proposer must demonstrate that it has personnel capable of handling the services required herein. For key staff, as related to the engagement, the proposer must provide the name of resources to be assigned, their education, years of experience, licenses, certifications, and resumes, or professional information, specifying year of graduation, start and end dates for each job position and project. Also, the proposer must fill the pertinent key staff members' information as part of Exhibit C. Key staff that will be required as part of the responses of the RFP include the following: senior executive / industry expert, senior consultant, and consultant / advisor. Each proposer shall draft and submit a work approach document as part of the proposal, clearly stating the proposer's overall plan for the management of all major tasks listed in attachment 1. The work approach will have a total maximum score of 60 points. Also, the cost proposal will be submitted by proposers using Exhibit N, or named as cost fund. The proposal will be compensated based on hours worked and hourly rates for each of the key staff identified in attachment 1. The cost proposal will have a total maximum score of 40 points. If considered appropriate, proposers could receive a written invitation to perform an oral presentation of their work approach. In general, the oral presentation's purpose will be the clarification of the work approach based on proposers' submitted proposal. Proposals will be scored using a best value methodology. Proposals will be evaluated on their technical capabilities, namely the proposer's qualifications and work approach. And a score for each criterion will be assigned based on the maximum allowable points stated in the RFP. To be considered qualified proposers need to achieve a technical score greater than or equal to 70 points. The proposers and first-tier subcontractor must be registered in the System for Award Management, known as SEM, at the time of the proposal submission or initiate the registration process right after the proposal submission. For more information about the system for award management, go to www.sam.gov. There is no registration fee to create or renew or update your organization's information on SAM. Awards will only be issued to entities which are cleared and not ineligible for award of a contract due to suspension, debarment, or HUD imposed limited denial of participation. Well, now we have a presentation from one of our grant managers, Section 3, Ivana Harrington, for an introduction to federal rights civil compliance.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Serge. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay. Today, we're going to be sharing some information for the Commercial Underwriting, Real Estate, and Financial Advisory Services RFP. Today, we're going to discuss a brief overview of compliance roles and responsibilities, an overview of what kinds of tools are available for you to assist you with fulfilling compliance requirements, and what kind of efforts, training, and reporting is required for specifically your contract and for the program. And finally, we will cover some really frequently asked questions. Federal civil rights and labor standards includes a few compliance areas. That includes Section 3, minority, women-owned business participation, fair housing and equal opportunity, and Davis-Bacon. Today, we're really going to focus on minority and women-owned business and cover a little bit of material for fair housing and equal opportunity. Contractors have specific roles and responsibilities for compliance. That includes assigning staff who are going to attend the day-to-day activities for civil rights compliance. You should also attend trainings, workshops. You should be using the tools and templates that are offered by the Department of Housing. You are also responsible for executing activities and documentation once the project starts. You'll also be participating in Department of Housing sponsored technical assistance sessions. There is a requirement for completing quarterly reporting and complying with the reporting that is required. Your RFP has a few sections that speak to these areas of compliance. Specifically, Section 3.9 covers minority and women-owned business enterprises. That section in your RFP also includes a couple of links that will provide you helpful resources that are publicly available on the Department of Housing website. Section 3.10 in your RFP also speaks to Section 3. There are also a few links that will help bring you to the resources that are available on the Department of Housing website. Section 7 specifically speaks to a preference of 5 points for any business competing who can show that they're a Section 3 business concern or an MWBE business. Let's cover briefly what Section 3 is. Section 3 is a federal requirement from the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. It is to provide to the greatest extent feasible job training, employment, contracting, and other economic opportunities generated by the HUD financial assistance to be directed to low and very low income persons and businesses. The Department of Housing has provided a policy guide available on the website in both English and Spanish for the benefit of everybody. You are encouraged to visit the Department of Housing website and to click on the links to access those documents. Let's dive into what a Section 3 resident or individual is. A Section 3 resident is one in which a public housing resident can be shown, a resident near a funded project, a very low income person, or a very low income person. You can also prove your Section 3 status if you are a participant in a youth build or if you are part of a Section 3 business. Individuals who meet the 2020 or 2021 income limits for Puerto Rico as an individual or for their family income can qualify as a Section 3 person. Now let's talk about what a Section 3 business can be. A Section 3 business could be one in which 51% or more are owned by Section 3 residents, 30% or more of the business's permanent full-time employees are currently Section 3 residents, or you can provide evidence of a commitment to subcontract in excess of 25% of the dollar amount to another Section 3 business. Section 3 compliance includes a variety of different forms that can be helpful for you. The first is a Section 3 plan. This document specifically allows contractors or subrecipients to identify how you plan on being in compliance with Section 3 hiring, training, contracting goals. There are also self-certification forms. These documents specifically help individuals and businesses identify if you meet the requirements to be considered a Section 3 individual or business. And we also have documentation of efforts form. This template allows contractors to identify how you are performing your efforts in compliance with the Section 3 requirements. Let's dive deeper into what a Section 3 plan is. A Section 3 plan helps you identify hiring needs. It can also help you identify any subcontracting needs. It helps you plan outreach efforts. It prepares your assigned coordinators for the day-to-day activities. It provides guidance on what types of activities you can be doing on a day-to-day. It defines a complaint procedure. It helps you understand how to document your efforts, and it helps you prepare for reporting requirements. Using the link on this slide will take you directly to the Department of Housing website where you can download a Section 3 plan template. As we mentioned earlier, there are also Section 3 self-certification forms. These forms can be accessed by using the link on the slide and directly going to the Department of Housing website to download those documents. HUD also has a business registry where businesses can identify as a Section 3 business and also register themselves. You can also search for businesses who may have qualified themselves as Section 3. You can use the links on the slide to go directly to the HUD website and access that information. Now let's discuss minority and women-owned business enterprise compliance. As you may have guessed, the Department of Housing has also established policy guides for compliance with MWBE. These documents are available in both English and Spanish. You are encouraged to go to the website and click on the links so you can access these documents. Specifically, 2 CFR 200.321 and a variety of executive orders establish the participation of MWBE firms. This requires that when possible, contracts and other economic opportunities funded in whole or in part with federal housing and community development assistance should be directed to minority business enterprises known as MBE and women business enterprises commonly called WBE. What is an MBE? An MBE is defined as a business which is at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled on a daily basis by one or more American citizens of the following ethnic minority and/or gender or military veteran classifications: African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, Native American, Hasidic Jew, persons with disabilities, or other individuals who can prove social or economic disadvantage. Now let's talk about what a WBE is. A women business enterprise is one in which is at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more women. They must be U.S. citizens or legal resident aliens whose business formation and principal place of business are in the U.S. or its territories, and whose management and daily operation is controlled by women. The Department of Housing Policy Guide identifies goals for MWBE participation. There is a 20% total goal for participation, 10% for women business enterprises, and 10% for minority business enterprises. This also includes documenting your good faith efforts every time you have a contracting or purchasing opportunity. There are some forms that will help you complete compliance for MWBE. The first is the utilization plan. This template allows contractors to identify how they plan on being in compliance with MWBE contracting goals. The next form is a waiver form. This form helps you identify to meet the requirements to waive your goal for participation for MWBE. Let's discuss the utilization plan further. The utilization plan helps you compile data to identify specifically what MWBE subcontractors you plan to be using on your project. It helps you identify subcontracting needs. It prepares users on creating supplier or contractor lists. It provides awareness of meeting the goals for the contract, and it helps with tracking utilization. You can use the link on the slide to go directly to the Department of Housing website so that you can download your MWBE utilization plan template. When you access the document, you will notice that completing this document is very doable. You should read the general instructions in row 3, and you will need to complete sections A, B, and F from the document. Complete the information requested in the yellow cells. These resources and more, as we mentioned earlier, are directly on the Department of Housing website. Use the links and click on the boxes to access the variety of tools available for you. When seeking minority or women businesses, there are a variety of places that you can access information. You can reach out to the SBA to request lists of businesses who have registered with their 8A program or WASB program. If you are interested in signing up with the SBA as a minority or women-owned business, you can use the link on the slide for their preliminary assessment tool to complete the exercise. You can also reach out to the EPA, their Office of Small Business Program, for listings. The Department of Transportation also has a DBE program. The Minority Business Development Agency also provides information. The Women Business Enterprise National Council can also provide you listings of women business enterprises. And finally, the Puerto Rican Minority Supplier Development Council also provides listings of businesses. Businesses who complete these certification processes receive documentation confirming their registered status. Now let's dive into fair housing and equal opportunity. Part of your RFP package includes attachment 2, a model contract. Under documentation and record keeping, we specifically highlight that there are requirements for keeping and documenting compliance with fair housing and equal opportunity requirements. Attachment 2 model contract also has general compliance clause regarding these federal regulations and other executive orders. The model contract also has a section for equal opportunity. The Fair Housing Act, as amended in 1988, also includes many executive orders, laws, and statutes that cover fair housing. Equal opportunity is afforded to protected classes through a number of these federal laws and executive orders, as well as local laws and executive orders. The Department of Housing, its subrecipients, and contractors must comply with applicable federal housing civil rights laws that prohibit discrimination. These include housing activities such as the Fair Housing Act, as well as federally funded programs and activities such as Sections 109 and 504. Discrimination is prohibited against the following federally protected classes: race, color, national origin, religion, sex, age, familial status, disability, gender identity, and sexual orientation. The Department of Housing has put forward policy guides to help you understand these requirements. These requirements are available through the links that are here on the slide. You can access them and maintain these documents on file for your records. All federally funded programs must ensure that policies and procedures do not deny the opportunity to participate in, access, or benefit from programs such as the CDBG-DR program, including employment opportunities. These requirements are enforced by HUD's Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity, known as FHEO. Reasonable accommodations are changes made to a program policy, practice, or service which affords individuals with disabilities an equal opportunity to enjoy the benefits of the program. Section 504 requires that federally funded programs provide requested reasonable accommodations or reasonable modifications at the cost of the program to individuals to the extent that they are reasonable and serve a verifiable disability-related need. The Department of Housing Reasonable Accommodation Policy provides these requirements and guidance to programs about the critical due diligence and evaluation of these requests. The Compliance Division assists these program areas in the handling and evaluation of these requests as needed. Now let's discuss limited English proficiency. Limited English proficiency refers to a person's limited ability to read, write, speak, or understand English. The Department of Housing and contractors must ensure that a person's limited ability to read, write, speak, or understand English will not place them at a disadvantage in the participation of programs being funded with CDBG-DR funding through Department of Housing. Department of Housing has a language access plan, which we presented in an earlier slide. You can click on the link and access the document. Now let's quickly touch on training, documenting efforts, and reporting. The Department of Housing offers a variety of different training resources for contractors. Once you are contracted, you will have accessibility to these modules and more. Documenting your efforts is a really important activity as a contractor. Additionally, completing your quarterly reporting. These templates are available directly for you on the Department of Housing website. The quarterly reporting form specifically covers a variety of data required for the Department of Housing to report to HUD. Specifically, we call out the MWBE data that will be collected and the FHEO data that will be collected. Quarterly reporting happens uniformly for all contractors and subrecipients on the following dates. April 5th, for your activity from January through March. On July 5th, for your activity from April through June. On October 5th, for your activity from July through September. And finally, on January 5th, for all your activity from October through December. Awarded contractors will be responsible for reporting 4 times a year to ensure they are performing efforts related to Section 3 and MWBE as applicable. Now let's discuss some frequently asked questions. Can a business be both Section 3 and MWBE? Yes, a business or subcontractor can be both because those compliance areas are actually separate. Section 3 identifies businesses through the level of incomes to determine status. MWBE uses race and gender information to qualify businesses. If I am not planning on subcontracting, do I still need to complete documents? Yes, you should still submit your MWBE utilization plan, your Section 3 plan, the documentation of efforts template, and your quarterly reports. If Section 3 doesn't apply to my contract, do I still have to complete the quarterly report? Yes, you will have to complete the MWBE portion of the report and the FHEO portions of the report. If I am either an MBE or WBE, do I fulfill the total goals? You may have safe harbor for one of the goals for MWBE participation of 10%, but you will still have an additional 10% goal to show good faith efforts for any subcontracting or purchasing that you perform with the CDBG-DR funding. What happens if I don't fulfill the goals before the end of my contract? All awarded contractors should perform and document efforts. The Department of Housing has developed templates discussed in this presentation that help you complete this exercise. You can submit a waiver before the end of your contract for approval for MWBE. This waiver request should be submitted with the efforts and justifications as appropriate. Thank you for attending our session. We hope you found the material helpful. Please remember to direct all your questions through the established protocols for this procurement. On behalf of Maria del Carmen Figueroa, thank you. I will now stop sharing the screen.
finish the pre-bid meeting, I will ask to all the attendees to please include their name, their complete name and email address in the questions section. Therefore, we can register their attendance, your attendance. We thank you all for attending the the pre-bid meeting for the Economic Development Investment Portfolio for Growth, IPG Commercial Underwriting, Real Estate and Financial Advisory Services. As we said before, all questions will be answered through email or in writing. Thank you for your participation.